Great film based on real events, but this is quite different. Not the inspirational true story. This is a cautionary tale. It's a true crime thriller. Great cast.
Every single day, I bring you another gem from the golden age. The stories, the legends, and the raw moments that made that era unforgettable. If you want to keep these memories alive with me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and it truly means a lot. Thank you for being here and keeping the magic alive. Now let's dive right in. We get so wrapped up in the flashing lights and red carpets that we sometimes forget. These stars are human too. They've got real struggles, real emotions, and real scars. And Ron Howard, the man who's shaped decades of Hollywood greatness, just revealed some shocking truths that left fans speechless. After all these years behind the camera, crafting stories that touched millions, he finally decided to share his own. For years, he carried those private battles in silence, hidden behind that calm smile and quiet brilliance. But now, Ron's pulling back the curtain, and what he's saying is raw, honest, and deeply emotional. In this video, we're stepping straight into Ron Howard's world, not the one made of movie sets and spotlights, but the real one, where pain and passion collide. His journey through Hollywood has been a wild ride of talent, discipline, and heart. And now, he's finally ready to talk about what really went down when the cameras stopped rolling. Ron Howard's legacy in show business is pure transformation. Born on March 1st, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, he was practically raised on set instead of a playground. His parents, Rance Howard and Jean Spiegel, were already part of the film and TV world, so it's no surprise that Ron grew up surrounded by scripts, lights, and endless creativity. His roots stretch all over Europe. German, English, Scottish, Irish, and Dutch blood run through his veins. Maybe that mix helped him blend into every role and connect with audiences in a way few others could. His calm energy and sharp mind became his trademark, long before he ever yelled, "Action!" But here's the twist most people never knew. Ron Howard wasn't even born a Howard. His father's real last name was Beckenholt before changing it to Howard back in 1948, a stage name that ended up shaping the whole family's legacy. Crazy, right? One simple decision in Hollywood ended up echoing through generations. And that early life discipline? It came straight from his dad's time serving in the U.S. Air Force, teaching Ron from day one that behind every spotlight, there's hard work, sacrifice, and a story waiting to be told. That strict, disciplined childhood might have been the secret weapon that helped Ron handle the insane pressure of fame way before most kids even learned to tie their shoes. While other kids were worrying about homework, Ron was balancing a double life, part student, part Hollywood rising star. He split his days between regular classrooms and private tutoring on studio lots, jumping from textbooks to movie scripts like it was second nature. In Burbank, California, he studied at Robert Louis Stevenson Elementary and David Starr Jordan Junior High before finishing at John Burroughs High School. But that was just half his world. At the same time, he was taking lessons at Celu Studios, mastering both his craft and his schoolwork with unbelievable focus. Talk about multitasking. Later, he enrolled at the University of Southern California's legendary School of Cinematic Arts, the dream spot for any future filmmaker. But guess what? He didn't stick around to grab that degree. Instead, Ron trusted his gut. He knew real-world experience behind the camera would teach him more than any lecture ever could. And wow, he proved himself right big time. Ron's acting career actually began way back in 1959 with the film The Journey. From there, he started popping up in all kinds of TV shows, showing off a range that few child actors could pull off. He landed roles in timeless hits like The Twilight Zone, Dennis the Menace, and The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis. Bit by bit, he was building his reputation, one guest spot at a time. But everything changed the moment he became Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show. That role turned Ron Howard into a household name overnight. Starting in 1960, he played Opie for all 8 seasons, growing up right before America's eyes. In a world full of uncertainty, that wholesome small-town charm gave viewers something real and heartwarming to hold on to. Ron once shared a moment from his very first day on set that stuck with him forever. He was only 5 and he had to pretend a toy turtle was actually dead. Imagine that. Learning how to make a scene feel real at such a young age set the stage for everything he'd become later. As Ron grew older, he slipped into his teenage roles with effortless style and confidence. One key appearance on Love, American Style, opened the door to the role that would define his teen years, Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. From 1974 to 1980, Ron brought Richie to life in a way that felt completely real. The kind of character you couldn't help but root for. Without even trying, he became a teen icon, the face of every clean-cut dreamer on TV. Richie was the perfect match for Henry Winkler's bold, leather-jacketed rebel, the Fonz. The contrast between Richie's good boy charm and Fonzie's wild confidence created one of television's most unforgettable duos. Their chemistry didn't just make the show a hit, it made it a cultural phenomenon. The two of them had this unspoken rhythm, a balance of humor and heart that fans still talk about to this day. But Ron wasn't just sitting back enjoying the fame. He kept hustling, taking on more film roles that showed off his range and depth. Even before Happy Days, he was proving his talent. Back in 1962, he hit the big screen in The Music Man, playing Little Winthrop Peru, a shy kid with a lisp who still managed to light up every scene with raw charm. That movie didn't just do well, it blew up, earning 6 Academy Award nominations and showing that Ron could bring soul and emotion to any role, no matter how young he was. Then came The Courtship of Eddie's Father in 1963, another standout moment that showed his gift for emotional storytelling. Every film, every show, every script just kept sharpening his skills and reminding Hollywood that Ron Howard wasn't a passing child star. He was a born storyteller, evolving right in front of everyone's eyes. But his big cinematic turning point came in 1973 with George Lucas's American Graffiti. Ron played Steve Bolander, and the movie hit audiences right in the heart. It captured that feeling of youth, freedom, and fear of growing up in a way that felt so real it hurt. Critics went wild for it. Legendary reviewer Roger Ebert even called it a brilliant piece of historical fiction, and that praise shot Ron's name straight into the spotlight like never before. American Graffiti didn't just boost his career, it changed his entire direction. That film became the bridge that led him to Happy Days, one of the biggest and most defining roles of his life. Through the 1970s, Ron mastered the art of balance, juggling TV hits and movie projects with equal passion. He showed up in The Waltons and even got the chance to work beside Hollywood legend John Wayne in The Shootist. Can you imagine? Sharing scenes with the Duke himself. That's when everyone realized Ron wasn't just talented, he was unstoppable. These projects gave him priceless experience, letting him explore drama, comedy, and everything in between. Behind the scenes, he was soaking it all in, learning how sets ran, how directors worked, how stories came to life. By the end of the decade, something inside him started to shift. After years standing under those bright studio lights, Ron felt the pull toward something deeper, something that went beyond memorizing lines and hitting his marks. He wanted to create, to tell stories from the other side of the camera. Something big was about to change. Ron knew deep down it was time to step behind the camera and show the world that he could do more than just act. After spending years studying every move of the greats he'd worked with, he was ready to prove himself as a director. That decision marked the start of a major transformation, one that would push him straight into Hollywood's top creative ranks. But with that bold leap came a whole new kind of pressure he never saw coming. Switching from actor to director wasn't just about changing jobs, it was Ron Howard completely evolving as a storyteller. He wasn't just playing parts anymore. He was shaping worlds, guiding emotions, and creating moments that would last forever. That first step into directing came in 1977 with a wild, low-budget action comedy called Grand Theft Auto. It was fast, chaotic, and packed with energy, the perfect playground for a young filmmaker hungry to prove himself. The opportunity came through none other than Roger Corman, the Hollywood legend known for spotting talent before anyone else even noticed. Corman had this deal-making style that was both risky and brilliant. The agreement was simple but life-changing. Ron would star in Corman's movie Eat My Dust, and in return, Corman would hand him the director's chair for his very own film. That's the kind of break most actors only dream about, and Ron took it head-on. Grand Theft Auto wasn't some flashy blockbuster, but it was the real deal, a gritty, hands-on crash course in filmmaking. Ron didn't just act in it, he co-wrote the script with his father, Rance Howard. Having his dad right there beside him brought a sense of calm in the middle of the chaos. It was a family project built on trust, passion, and a whole lot of hustle. Together, they figured things out scene by scene, proving that creativity doesn't need a massive budget, just determination and heart. The production was small, but the lessons were massive. Ron faced every kind of challenge, time crunches, tight money, technical chaos, but instead of backing down, he thrived under it. Every day on set was a new test, and every mistake turned into a valuable lesson. By the time the film wrapped, he wasn't just a first-time director anymore. He was a filmmaker in the making. But even with his new passion firing up, Ron didn't abandon acting just yet. He kept one foot in both worlds, staying on Happy Days while taking on directing gigs for TV movies on NBC between 1978 and 1982. That stretch became his personal creative boot camp, a place where he could experiment, make mistakes, and refine his vision without the crushing pressure of big-budget Hollywood. Those years built the foundation of the powerhouse director he'd soon become. Sharp, fearless, and ready for anything. One project that really stood out during this chapter of Ron's growth was the 1980 TV movie Skyward, starring none other than the legendary Bette Davis. Working with someone as powerful and respected as Davis would have rattled most rookie directors. But for Ron, it was a golden chance to prove himself. He had to step up fast, stay sharp, and learn how to direct a Hollywood powerhouse without losing his confidence. That experience wasn't just another job. It was a masterclass in leadership, communication, and respect on set. Those lessons shaped the kind of director Ron would soon become: calm, confident, and deeply focused. While still juggling both acting and directing, Ron learned at lightning speed how to handle the non-stop chaos that comes with running a production. Early mornings, late nights, constant decisions, he lived through it all. But the grind paid off big time in 1982 when his true breakout moment as a director arrived with Night Shift. This wild, offbeat comedy starred Michael Keaton, Shelley Long, and Ron's Happy Days co-star Henry Winkler, a dream lineup for his first major feature. Night Shift was proof that Ron Howard had officially arrived as a director. It was sharp, funny, and had that spark of creativity that people didn't see coming. The film's success wasn't just about laughs. It was about Ron finding his voice behind the camera. The strong reception gave him a massive boost of confidence and earned him serious respect from Hollywood insiders who now saw him as more than that guy from TV. But the real explosion came 2 years later, in 1984, when he directed Splash. This fantasy romantic comedy, starring Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah, Eugene Levy, and John Candy, became an instant hit. It crushed the box office and wowed critics, cementing Ron's place among Hollywood's top-tier filmmakers. With Splash, he showed he could blend comedy, romance, and fantasy effortlessly, all while managing complex effects and emotional storytelling without missing a beat. Ron proved he could pull off the impossible, balancing heart, humor, and Hollywood magic all in one film. And he didn't slow down for a second. Right after Splash, he came back strong in 1985 with Cocoon, a sci-fi comedy drama led by a powerhouse cast, including Donna Meche, Wilford Brimley, and Brian Dennehy. The movie was another huge success, winning over both audiences and critics. Cocoon hit deep. It was funny, touching, and filled with that signature Ron Howard warmth that made people believe in second chances and miracles. The film didn't just score big at the box office, it made history. Donna Meche even took home an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, a clear sign that Ron knew exactly how to pull unforgettable performances out of his cast. No matter the genre, comedy, sci-fi, drama, or romance, Ron had the magic touch to make it all work seamlessly. And just when people thought he'd found his lane, Ron switched it up again. In 1988, he reunited with his old American graffiti director, George Lucas, to bring a brand new fantasy adventure to life: Willow. This movie was a huge leap into the world of epic storytelling, full of stunning visuals, mythical creatures, and massive world-building that pushed Ron's creative limits like never before. Even though Willow got mixed reviews when it first hit theaters, fans didn't forget it. Over the years, it built a strong cult following, with viewers falling in love with its daring tone and imaginative universe. The film proved that Ron Howard wasn't afraid to take risks, to swing big, experiment with scale, and chase ambitious dreams no matter how challenging they seemed. Ron Howard closed out the 80s on a powerful note with Parenthood, a heartfelt, chaotic, and deeply funny look at family life that hit home for audiences everywhere. The movie was packed with star power. Steve Martin, Mary Steenburgen, Diane Wiest, and a young Joaquin Phoenix all brought their best to the screen. The film struck that rare balance between laughter and real emotion, showing that Ron could capture the highs and lows of everyday life with warmth and honesty. It crushed at the box office, pulling in over $100 million and earning 2 Oscar nominations. With Parenthood, Ron proved he wasn't just a storyteller. He was a mirror to real life, blending humor, pain, and love like few directors could. As time rolled on, Ron didn't slow down, not for a second. He started pushing himself into new creative territory, tackling tougher and more unpredictable projects. In 2013, he came roaring back with Rush, a high-octane sports drama based on the true rivalry between Formula One legends James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Starring Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl, the film hit the Toronto International Film Festival with explosive energy. Critics praised it for its realism, intensity, and emotional punch, a mix of speed and soul that few filmmakers could pull off. Rush wasn't just about racing, it was about pride, obsession, and what it costs to win. Then, in 2015, Ron took on a completely different challenge within the heart of the sea. The historical drama told the tragic true story of the whaling ship Essex, the real-life event that inspired Moby Dick. With a talented cast including Chris Hemsworth and Cillian Murphy, the movie was visually stunning and emotionally raw. But despite its power, it didn't hit as hard at the box office as expected. Reviews were mixed, reminding everyone that even the best directors face their share of rough seas. Still, Ron handled it with his usual grace, learning, adapting, and staying focused on his craft. But nothing could have prepared him for what came next. In 2017, Ron stepped into one of the toughest directing jobs of his entire career, finishing Solo, a Star Wars story. The film had already been deep in production when the original directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, walked away over creative clashes. That left Ron in a near-impossible position, taking control of a half-finished Star Wars movie, one of the most beloved and heavily protected franchises in history. The pressure was unreal. Yet Ron did what he always does. He stayed calm, professional, and laser-focused. Despite the chaos, he said he felt grateful to be part of the galaxy far, far away. And even under intense fan expectations, he managed to deliver a movie that kept the Star Wars spirit alive. It was another reminder that when Hollywood throws chaos at him, Ron knows how to steer the ship home. But behind all the success, the spotlight never stopped shining, and that light started to burn. Fame had followed Ron since childhood. From the Andy Griffith Show to Happy Days, he'd grown up with millions watching his every move. That kind of attention doesn't fade easily, and as he transitioned from actor to one of Hollywood's most trusted directors, the pressure only grew heavier. The higher his career climbed, the more demanding it became. The long shoots, endless deadlines, and constant pressure to deliver perfection started eating away at his private life. The grind was relentless. Juggling massive productions, maintaining his reputation, and trying to keep some normalcy at home became nearly impossible. Ron found himself caught in the same trap so many Hollywood veterans fall into, chasing success so hard that the personal side starts slipping through the cracks. The long days, heavy stress, and non-stop creative demands began to take a toll. Even for a man as steady as Ron Howard, the constant push to outdo himself weighed on him like never before. His career was on fire, but behind the curtain, the personal cost was starting to show. Ron eventually found himself trapped in a dangerous loop, working non-stop, chasing win after win, and pushing himself harder with every new project. No matter how much success he had, it was never enough. He kept reaching for the next big thing while his own peace of mind and precious time with his family slowly slipped away. The constant grind that once fueled him started to drain him instead. And before long, all that pressure finally caught up with him. And Ron hit a breaking point that forced him to stop and take a hard look at his life in a way he never had before. For all the trophies, praise, and blockbuster hits, he suddenly saw what he'd been missing. The roles that truly mattered most, being a loyal husband, being a present, hands-on father. That moment of truth hit him like a punch to the gut. It was raw, painful, and eye-opening all at once. For the first time, Ron began to question what all the success really meant if it came at the cost of the people he loved most. That deep reflection pushed him to make a choice. Not to walk away from filmmaking, but to completely reshape how he lived and worked. He realized that no amount of fame, money, or cinematic glory could ever replace real connection, real family moments, or genuine peace. That awakening became a turning point, the spark that made him rebuild his world from the inside out. Ron started putting serious effort into balance, making sure his family came first, no matter how demanding Hollywood got. He wasn't quitting. He was realigning, setting boundaries, learning how to be fully present when it mattered most. It wasn't about slowing down. It was about living smarter, protecting what truly mattered and not letting the spotlight blind him from the life waiting just outside it. He learned to protect his downtime fiercely, to show up emotionally for his loved ones, and to find value in the quiet moments that reminded him why he started in the first place. Those changes didn't just make him a better director, they made him a better man. But even as he rebuilt this healthier rhythm, there was another weight sitting quietly on his heart, one tied to a bond that had been with him long before the awards, the fame, or the red carpets ever came. Behind the scenes, Ron's always had one of the strongest family connections in Hollywood. His brother, Clint Howard. Their bond runs deep, built on shared dreams, shared struggles, and years of growing up together in the unpredictable world of show business. Both brothers started young, navigating the highs and lows of childhood stardom side by side, long before either of them knew what their futures would hold. While Ron climbed into Hollywood's elite as an acclaimed director and storyteller, Clint carved out his own unique path, becoming one of the most recognizable and beloved character actors in the industry. His face, his energy, his timing, everything about him stood out. People didn't just remember Clint, they loved him. He brought something real, something different, to every role he touched. Through every up and down, every twist and turn, the Howard brothers never drifted apart. They stayed solid, always backing each other, always understanding the unspoken pressures that come with a life lived in front of the camera. Ron has often talked about how important that connection is to him, how Clint was his anchor when fame tried to pull him under. Growing up on sets can be isolating, even for someone surrounded by cameras and crowds. But the two of them faced it all together, shoulder to shoulder, proving that no matter how bright the lights get, family will always shine brighter. Clint was always the one who kept Ron grounded, the voice that reminded him where they came from and what truly mattered when life in Hollywood started spinning out of control. In a world that moved too fast and demanded too much, Clint became that steady hand, that calm in the storm. Whenever fame, pressure, or chaos tried to pull Ron too far from his roots, Clint was there to pull him back, reminding him of family, simplicity, and realness. Even as Ron climbed to the very top of the directing world, collecting awards and global respect, he still looked to his younger brother for inspiration. Clint never let the industry change him, not even a little. His honesty, his quirky energy, his unfiltered style, and his chill attitude made him one of a kind. While so many people in Hollywood tried to fit in, Clint stood out by just being himself. Real, raw, and unforgettable. Ron admired that endlessly. Their connection went deeper than fame or success. It was built on loyalty, brotherhood, and trust. They celebrated each other's wins like family should and stood shoulder to shoulder through every loss. No jealousy, no distance, just love and understanding. Together they built a bond strong enough to survive the brutal storms that fame can bring. But now, that unbreakable bond is being tested like never before. Clint is facing a serious health battle, one that has shaken the entire Howard family to its core. For Ron, it's been devastating, something he never saw coming. The idea of losing his brother, his lifelong confidant, his constant reminder of home, terrifies him. It's the kind of fear that cuts straight through every layer of success, reminding him just how fragile life really is. This moment has hit Ron harder than almost anything he's faced in years. It's forced him to confront emotions he's never had to face before. Fear, grief, and helplessness, all tangled together. The news of Clint's health struggle has cast a heavy shadow over their family, leaving Ron searching for strength in a story that, for once, he can't control. In a rare and deeply emotional moment, Ron opened up about the storm he's been living through. How strange it feels to be on the other side of the camera, powerless to rewrite the ending. The man who has spent decades directing stories of courage, resilience, and survival is now walking through his own real-life chapter, one with no script, no certainty, and no guarantee. Details about Clint's condition remain private, but those close to the family describe it as life-changing, the kind of challenge that shakes even the strongest souls. For a man like Clint, who has spent his life bringing joy, humor, and heart to audiences everywhere, this twist feels painfully unfair. Ron has spoken about how difficult it is to see his brother, usually full of energy, quick wit, and unstoppable spirit. Facing such tough medical complications, it's a sight that cuts him to his core. But it's not just the physical pain that's taken its toll. Ron admits there's this deeper emotional weight, a feeling of helplessness that's completely foreign to him. As a director, he's used to calling the shots, solving problems, and keeping control until the story lands perfectly. But this time, there's no script to follow, no fix to make, no scene to retake. Now, in this real-life heartbreak, Ron can't yell, "cut," or call for a reset. There's no second take this time. All he can do is stand beside his brother, hoping and praying for better days. That powerlessness has forced him to stare down fears he never wanted to face. He's talked about those long, sleepless nights, the kind where old memories start to play like scenes from a movie he can't turn off. He remembers their childhood acting days, the times they worked side by side, the laughs that came so easily, and now those same moments carry a heavier, bittersweet weight. Even as uncertainty lingers, one thing is crystal clear: the Howard family's strength is unshakable. During this painful chapter, Ron says everyone has drawn closer than ever, putting aside their own fears to lift Clint with every ounce of love and support they have. The spotlight doesn't matter right now, family does. Through it all, Ron refuses to give in to despair. He keeps holding on to hope, pointing to Clint's fierce determination and that unstoppable spirit that's defined him from day one. Clint's toughness, his stubborn drive, his natural will to fight, those same traits that made him stand out on screen are the ones keeping him pushing forward now. Ron believes in that strength with everything he's got. His request for privacy isn't about shutting fans out. It's about protecting what matters most. He wants to give his family space to breathe, to heal, and to support Clint without the noise of the public eye. Ron's making sure his brother's dignity stays intact, refusing to let this personal battle turn into gossip or speculation. For once, he's drawing the line. This part of their story stays theirs. Ron's also been reflecting deeply on everything Clint has taught him through the years: his humor in dark times, his honesty when things get tough, and his resilience when life hits hard. Those lessons aren't just memories. They're guiding Ron right now, helping him stay grounded even when the emotions get heavy. Clint's strength has always been the heartbeat of their bond, and it's still showing him the way through. This entire ordeal has made Ron take another hard look at his life. His passion for filmmaking is still alive. It always will be, but his focus is shifting again. He's talked about valuing family even more now, about cherishing the real connections that give life meaning beyond the camera. And who knows, this new perspective might start to show in his next projects. Maybe stories about loyalty, family, and the power to rise through pain. Themes that hit closer to home than ever before. Ron Howard's journey has always been about storytelling, but this time, he's living one of the most powerful stories of all. One of love, hope, and holding on when life tests you the hardest. If this story moved you, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Hit that like button if you felt something real, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible behind-the-scenes stories from Hollywood's most unforgettable legends. See you in the next video.